what are you hearing from the White House about how Donald Trump is approaching the shutdown?
He's been going around and saying, we've got to win the shutdown. So he has immediately turned it into a Trump style conflict. Win or lose, who's going to come out on top? Who is going to appear to be the dominant guy? Who's the alpha in this shutdown room? Chuck Schumer or Donald Trump, which is which is a kind of scary idea if you're a Democrat.
Go on, because you were saying that you felt that this was not the right moment for Chuck Schumer, that he's an administrator, he's a backroom guy, he likes to sort of do negotiations and get things done. And as you're always pointing out, Trump relishes conflict, wants nothing more than a bare knuckle fight. And now he's got
Yeah,
one.
I think you've put it well. You don't need me then to say that. That is in sum the situation. Trump is is the fighter, is the pugilist. He doesn't really care. It is just about the battle. Chuck Schumer has not, at after a lifetime in politics, is a politician, is a political figure. He's not a fighter. He's a negotiator. He's a backroom deal doer, which he may yet do. And he, in his own mind, I think, is probably confused about what his role here is. And on one hand, he sees, okay, I got to get the best possible deal I can. But on the other side, his role is just to stand up to Donald Trump. What is the problem with the Democratic Party? And it has nothing but problems. But a central problem is that the nation believes it's weak. That in a moment of who is the dominant personality, of where it's just about the power equation, for better or worse. But that's the moment the Democratic Party has consistently failed to show up.
Would it be fair to say it feels like there is a sense of inevitability that Trump may win this one?
There's always a sense that Trump probably has the advantage because he comes to battle just to battle,
Right, right.
and has an enormous capacity not to fold when other people would fold. Again, think of 4 criminal indictments, and he just powered through.
Endless bankruptcies. I mean, this is his modus operandi through business, through politics, through life, right?
Right, and so and also the fact that he is fundamentally not rational, and that's an incredible advantage to go into a fight. It's a kind of a you will do anything beyond what other more reasonable people would do. And already, in the nature of this shutdown, he is now threatening immeasurable pain to Democrats and Democratic interests. So he will use the full force of the government to defeat the Democrats, to squeeze them, to bring them to their knees. And that's a different kind of that's different than typical shutdowns, which are you, it's essentially you're looking out to your constituencies and saying, yeah, well, how much pain can you take? Can and eventually both sides sense that the American people are suffering for the level of services, government services, they're now being deprived of. And then the measure is that going to who is this going to hurt more, and then there's a negotiation and a settlement. So Trump is taking this beyond that and saying, I still have the power of the United States government here, and I can specifically direct that against the interests of the Democratic Party. So I will hurt you. I will use my power to hurt you. I mean, the New York Times had a story in which they called, yes, this shutdown is different because of Trump, because Trump is a wild card. Now, what that means is people are afraid of Trump, that he's managed to sell the fact that and he speaks in foreign policy. He speaks of this. He's of being nobody knows what a crazy man will do, and that is part posture and part true, that he's a crazy man. So, do the Democrats have the mettle, the wherewithal to take the pain?
It's also, I mean, I still find it difficult to understand how a shutdown can help the party that's got all three arms of government. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people are now on furlough, all sorts of services denied to people. This feels so abjectly dysfunctional. I have a friend staying from Europe this week, and she cannot conceive of a government shutdown. I mean, this is not something that happens to well-functioning countries. And it's hard to see how this benefits Trump precisely because he has all the power. But then the other problem is, as you point out, is Chuck Schumer doesn't seem to be able to articulate why they're doing this, and other than healthcare. And as you suggested in our last podcast together, why on earth don't they just make it about Epstein?
Yeah, well, again, the Democrats are always defaulting to policy.
Yeah, a normal strategy.
For good reason. The logical thing would be to say, what is the nature of government? It's the policies that they enact. And the policies are what helps people or hurts people, and getting beyond that, which is to say, no, that's not really true. It's actually something much larger that that government should be about. That the government should be about the message. The government should be about the meaning of life. Of what it is to be an American at this point in time. I mean, all of that those existential considerations are beyond, almost by definition, beyond bureaucrats. That's not the job of a bureaucrat.
Right.
And I think that they're always in that position. I mean, I had dinner this summer with a governor of a swing state who appears to want to run for president, of a Democrat, very wholly reasonable, nice guy, who spoke at this was a small dinner with 8 or so people talking about and asking questions, and to every question he responded with a policy paragraph.
Isn't it because the theatre of politics has changed? We're now playing it out on social media. It was always played out on television, where Trump is very skilled, but it's now playing it out on, as you say, Truth Social, of which there is an audience of one, but it gets amplified across every other social media platform. And policy paragraphs don't work on social media.
Well, I don't think that they work broadly in an emotional environment where people actually want other answers, other examples, other and other reasons to believe in this American enterprise, and And Trump has managed. Yes, Trump is a performer, and Trump is also has managed to make dominance, who is stronger, the fundamental issue, who can take more pain. And Trump can take the pain. The fact that he went through this campaign with these indictments hanging over his head is still confounding to most civic institutions.